Hey, welcome back everyone to Manny Reads Comics. Today I'm going to be going over Strange Academy number 13. This cover here, it looks pretty good. It shows Zoe. I forget her last name, sorry. But it shows Zoe, so you pretty much know that it's going to be about her. It's a book focused on her. But honestly, this book is focused on three people: Calvin, Zoe, and Emily. All right. But mostly it's a kind of an origin story for Zoe. So I have to give this a 4 out of 5, honestly. It seems pretty high to me. Even when I said it to myself, it's like, that must be wrong. But it's a 4 out of 5 because, one, it's got me worried for Emily. Like, I feel like Emily's making some questionable choices, but she's the main character, so you know, she does what she does. It's got me mad at Calvin because even though Calvin's the one that's having it rough right now, he's and this is the issue with reading these like teen um academy stuff books is you're gonna have teen issues, and me being the old man that I am, I'm like, I'm past those issues. I don't want to hear about it, but I'm also like, I really love these issues. So it's a love-hate relationship. But for this Calvin, I feel like Calvin knows better, but he's acting very teenager like, very angsty and making very stupid decisions. And that's what he does in this book. And so as much as I'm mad about it, I'm also hoping he doesn't do it. It just seems like he's going to. um, and then lastly, it's got me excited for the other characters in this book. There's so many characters. There's a couple of people that I haven't even seen before, and they haven't really touched on them. But then out of nowhere, they are talking to our main group. So then it's like, are they going to be important? But even with that, with the amount of people that they have in it, I still want to learn every single person's backstory. I don't feel like I'm being pushed and pulled in any direction. I think that Scotty Young is doing a good job of telling everybody's story one by one and not feeling like it's too slow or too fast or too much. Right. So, um, yeah, 4 out of 5. Good book, good read. So if you want to read it and that's it, you don't want any spoilers, this is a good place to end it. So, like I said, this story, it revolves around three main people, and it starts off with Calvin. In the last story arc, it was Calvin who was unknowingly the villain of the story. And when that was discovered, he lost his magic because he had been taken over by. I completely forgot the person's name or whatever, but it's basically like this greedy monster type thing, kind of like Venom, but not really Venom. That was engulfing Calvin, and that's what gave him his powers. So now that it's gone, Shaylee, another character in this, she ate that, she devoured it. So he no longer has powers. So you can kind of see that he's a little sad about it. Of course, he's in this school with nothing but magical beings, so of course he's gonna be upset about losing his powers. Also, another thing to remember is that Doctor Strange did just die. They did have a tie-in with Strange Academy where everyone had to go back home, whatever. It doesn't look like it's connected here, but I'll let that go. Here we have, I think her name is Desi. She's doing a presentation on her home world. So she brought some guy there. Let me see his name is Ogre Mage Crockwell, and he's just explaining her world and how it's a nightmare and everything there is trying to eat you and things like that. And she's like, I really do want to bring friends back, so please, don't don't make it too scary, or else no one's gonna want to come home with me. Um, and we see Calvin has not prepared his presentation. The teacher, which is Zoe, or not Zoe, Zelma, she has, she's like, hey, I know that you're going through a tough time right now, so you have until Monday. I'll put you back for Monday. So they're being thoughtful. They're being understanding, right? The other members are trying their best to show Calvin that what happened wasn't his fault. They don't hold it against him. They still want to hang out with him. They don't like think he's a pariah or whatever. Like they are still his friend, right? So they're gonna go out. It's Friday night. They're gonna go out into to the city. They're right next to New Orleans, and I think they want to go ghost hunting, right? So yeah, at first he doesn't want to go, but he's kind of pressured into it, which is awesome. Like this is great. That's what the whole point of this Strange Academy is so if you have these magical powers, you kind of know, one, how to focus them, and two, you don't feel too alone, right? So they're doing a good job with that there. Um, to continue with Calvin's story, we skip forward to where when they're in a cemetery after Zoe tells her origin story, which I will get into in a second. But in her origin story, she mentions some guy named Gaslamp, which he grants wishes, but there's a negative effect, like the monkey paw effect kind of thing. So Calvin, goes up to Zoe afterwards and says, "Hey, where can I find this Gaslamp guy?" And she's like, "Well, you're not listening to my story. It has a bad ending." And Calvin is just like, "No, I mean, you're here, you're talking to me, everything's okay. It all worked out for you. I want it to happen for me." And so she doesn't tell him, and she does. She kind of like takes off her little magical trinket that makes her seem like a human, because she is a zombie. And she's like, "Look, I understand what you're going through better than most. You need to let it go. This is not a good route. Just let it go and move on." And he's like, "Fine." He says fine, but then we kind of get this zoom out where we see, which most likely this guy's name is Gaslamp. We don't get it confirmed that this guy is Gaslamp, but he looks just like someone who would be called Gaslamp. So he says, "Please make sure that he comes sees me." So I'm thinking the next few storylines, or it's just setting up a storyline in the future for Calvin to do something stupid, something very teenage like. He just wants his powers back. I understand that, but it's gonna come at a cost, and we'll find out what it is. The next story is Zoe, right? So Zoe, the cemetery that everybody goes to after school, that is actually where she came back to life. So she explains how um, the tombstone that they found of Marie Laveau, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Um, it's got a bunch of X's on it, right? And they're like, "Well, I wonder why." And she explains basically, if you draw an X on it and you say Marie Laveau's name 3 times, turn around, make a wish. If she grants it, she'll grant your wish, but you have to come back with an offering. And if she doesn't grant it, well, whatever. And they don't believe the story at first, but that's when Zoe comes up and she's like, "No, it's true. That's how I'm here." And she explains how she is a relative of a descendant of Marie Laveau, and so from there down to her, everyone has had great magical prowess. Everyone's been pretty gifted, and they knew what they were doing. And when it came to her, she just couldn't grasp it. She messed up every spell or whatever that shows her messing up some things. Um, so she grew desperate. She found this guy named Gaslamp, um, wished for better skills, I guess, and they were granted for a short time. And then it's kind of like a drug story where she had to keep going back to him, make wishes, going back, and she would continue to be really good. But then eventually it killed her. So when she died, her parents took her to Marie Laveau's tombstone. They made that wish and they brought her back. But unfortunately, Gaslamp's magic was so twisted, so bad, so dark, bad magic basically, that when she was brought back, she still looks like a zombie. She looks dead. Fortunately, her mom is really good with magic and was able to make that trinket so she appears human. Um, but that's her little origin story. Nothing too crazy. But I mean, I enjoyed listening to it. Like I said earlier, I want to know every single one of their origin stories. Emily is just a regular human. That's how we started with her. Doyle's father is Dormammu. You got Enchantress being the mother of Alvi and Eric. They're very interesting. They all could pretty much at some point in the future go into their own books and stuff. And I think the next issue is going to be like a future look. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But so now we get Zoe's story there, which ends with her telling Calvin, like, "My story ended in a bad way. Just because I'm here, just because I'm talking to you, doesn't mean that it's a happy ending. It's not a good idea for you to reach out for Gaslamp." And then finally, the last story in this is Emily's. She's been talking to some mysterious stranger behind some locked door, in the middle of Doctor Strange's house or under it or something like that. I don't know. And then today she decides to open it. I just feel like if Doctor Strange has something locked up, it's not up to you who are just now learning magic to release it, right? So, but luckily, I'm kind of jumping ahead. She does open the door, but luckily this person is still bounded, and she's not actually trying to release them, um, in a sense. It turns out that this voice was the Imperator, which is the main bad from the 2015 run of Doctor Strange. I believe it was Jason Aaron's run, but I could be wrong. Um, but this guy basically hates everything to do with magic. Actually, he does kind of give a quick origin, and it reminds me of Superman's, except for he doesn't become this amazing being that embodies everything that's good. But this guy decided he was going to make it his mission to destroy anything that's magical and only believe in science and math and anything that's practical, basically. But he's bounded at the moment. He can't go anywhere. He's blindfolded. Um, Emily just talks to him and she says, "I'm going to release you, but not in the sense that you think." And she brings in this little trinket, puts it around his neck, and is able to put him in a prison of his own in the mind, basically. And and this is me assuming. I assume that she is able to make that prison whatever she wants, forever, how long she wants. And it turned out to be like a good, happy moment for him. But I think also that this is going to come back and bite her, because yes, the book ends in a happy note. The Imperator has like his family back. This is all in his mind though. And if Doctor Strange ever finds out that this happened, he's going to remove that trinket. Two, what if no matter what, if that trinket is removed, this guy has just lived a lifetime with this family that he never had, and it's just going to be ripped apart, ripped away from him. And I just feel like that's going to come back and bite Emily. So that's just another story in the future that's setting up, most likely. Um, it's very sweet on Emily's part. I can see what she's trying to do. She is acting with her heart, but I think it's going to come back to bite her. Either way, great story. Again, 4 out of 5, because these 3 different stories all kind of line up. They're making me look forward to the next stories. The only thing that's bad is the teenage angst or whatever, but I can get over that. That's something that's never going to go away. That's not anything against the writer. It's not anything against the art by Ramos is amazing as always. It's just a good little filler issue until we get to this next storyline, which I think the next one's going to be a filler as well, but who knows? Other than that, that's it. That's the review. A quick reminder, make sure if you like this to like it, subscribe it. If you can't watch it, you can also watch it on or listen to it on Spotify or any other podcast channels. And check me out on Instagram as well. I do reviews there, little videos and stuff. So check it out. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching and thanks for listening.